It only burns for a little bit. I mean, as long as you catch it beforehand, you can get medicated, and then you'll be fine. As long as you catch it like 3 days before, then you'll be good. Welcome to the Words of Hard Show, guys. We're back again with the randomizer. Randomizer to try to pick a topic. Leave your comments down below of topics for future videos. So, Mike, hit the randomizer.
Randomizer. Let's randomize this.
Come on, phone. Let's randomize. All right, so we're gonna draw a random topic from the randomizer, and that's gonna be the topic. Binge watching.
Ooh.
We're going to talk about binge watching, which is like super relevant for me right now. And for anybody else out there with the Netflix
I feel like the advent of Netflix has just made it so common to, binge watch a show and then immediately feel completely useless after the fact.
I think it's I think that Netflix, the big thing with them is the whole autoplay function.
Yeah.
That they have going on.
Yeah.
And the big thing with that is like I find myself when I'm sitting there binge watching something on Netflix, it's like your next episode will start in 6 seconds. I'm like, fuck off, and I'll like click it. I'm like, it's not quick enough.
Well, that's the thing too, though, is that like after you end up binge watching something on Netflix for long enough, like I think it's 3 episodes in, it will say, "Hey, are you still watching?" It's like, "Oh, thanks, Boo. Thanks for checking up on me. Yeah, I'm being a useless piece of shit and binge watching this entire series right now."
Yes, I am a piece of shit.
I am a piece of shit.
Ask me again.
Continue. Ask me again in 3 episodes.
3 more episodes.
It's like, fuck. So, I mean, yeah, it's, I've done it more often than I should, probably. Yeah. Last year I binge watched a few anime, actually. Sword Art Online, Sword Art Online 2, and
I never finished 2 yet.
And then the third one was
you guys are so cool.
Yeah, we're cooler than you.
The third one was Seven Deadly Sins, which is just
that's a great
it's a lot funnier than it should be.
Yeah.
And I hate myself for loving it.
When I binge watch things, I guess like my list is really similar to a lot of the things that everybody else would sort of binge watch. So like, Samantha and I binge watched The Walking Dead at one point. Mm-hmm. I watched Breaking Bad just like nonstop at one point.
So when I
got into Breaking Bad,
really?
When I was, here's the thing. When I started watching Breaking Bad, they were very, very close to the end of their last episode.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing is I ended up binge watching up until just before the last episode.
Yeah.
And then a week later, it was released. So I had a pretty much had a good time.
Good.
But the thing is that by the time that I got to the 5th season, there are 5 seasons, yeah. When I got to the last season, I just wanted it to end. I'm just like, this isn't a bad show. I just want it to end so I can move on with my life. I've invested this amount of hours into it, and I just don't want to.
I hate it when shows like that end. There's, I guess. It gave me so that was one of those shows where I was watching it and I was binge watching it and I'm on, whatever season 2 episode something, and like I would pause the episode and I'd get up and pace the room because I had so much anxiety because I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe that's happening. Like that show physically affected me.
Oh really?
Wow.
And that happened with Walking Dead a few times, but I was watching it with somebody else, so I couldn't exactly pause it and walk away for a minute.
See, for The Walking Dead, it was actually you and another coworker of mine at the time who ended up getting me into watching The Walking Dead, and I binge watched it up until whatever season it was. I think it was like season 3, and I binge watched the entire thing, and then I got caught up, and now I'm ahead of you. So
yeah, because I'm like 2 seasons behind right now.
Are you? I'm just a few episodes of this season behind, but this is where I was going to say that Netflix has ruined me because we just recently got satellite TV at home now.
Yeah, same.
All I'm using it for is basically watching sporting events because any shows like that, like I have the opportunity now that I could watch the new episodes of Walking Dead as they come out, but I am a few episodes behind. And Netflix has ruined me. Then I'm at the point, I'll just wait till it gets all caught up, the season's done, and then I'll binge watch the season.
Well,
that's what we were doing, and we ended up just sort of losing touch with it.
Yeah.
and I'm like I said, I'm 2 seasons behind now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to get caught up. I guess the final episode of this season just aired last week. So I want to get caught up on that. I'm hoping that Netflix gets it sooner rather than later, because it's a lot easier on Netflix than trying to use alternative
methods.
My the thing that I hate is when you go onto Netflix and you're like, this show looks neat, and you start watching it and you're like, this is amazing, and you make it to like episode 10 and it ends. I was like, that was a good season, and then it was like, that's it, that's all we have right now.
That happens with anime on Netflix, I find.
It does, yeah.
There's that, you find that rare anime on there that's not terrible, and then you watch it, and anime tends to be short seasons for the most part.
Sounds like you guys want to sign up for Crunchyroll.
I do, but I can't justify paying for another streaming service.
That's right, but we will justify it if you sponsor us.
Yeah, someone sponsor me for Crunchyroll.
No, Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll should sponsor us. Use the
better.
coupon code Words Are Hard at checkout for 10% off.
That's not a thing right now.
No,
Not yet. It'd be awesome.
But no, like when Orange Is the New Black first came out,
never watched it.
I fucking love that show.
I binge watched both seasons. That's the thing. Is that like
that's
I
weird
think?
because there's 3.
I was just gonna say, you watched both.
Wait,
3
there's a third
seasons.
season?
Yeah, and there's a 4th one coming out like next
Wait,
year.
I ended the season with, or I ended the series.
Spoiler alert.
with there's the Latina girl that was like pointing a gun at like all the people. Is that?
That's 3.
That is 3. Okay.
That's the end of 3.
So
dude.
here's the problem with
So
binge
you watched
watching.
3 seasons of a show and thought it was 2.
Here's the problem with binge watching is that you kind of get lost and it all just kind of runs together.
So my problem is that I watched the first one when it first came out, and I was just like, that was great. When's the next one come out? They're like, next June. I'm like, fuck you.
You know what the worst is for that? Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
So here's the thing
Or
with
Doctor Who.
here's the thing with Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
no,
but
Doctor
at
Who's
least,
bad for it.
but when I'm saying that, like, you get hooked on a series and you binge watch it, and there's only one season, there's not a whole lot. You're talking about a show that's been around for what, 60 fucking years or
Well,
something?
no.
like
here's
that?
the thing with Doctor Who is that
Don't tell me that Doctor Who lacks content.
Well, no, Doctor Who.
No, but it takes forever for the new stuff to come out, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So basically, they split up their seasons
Plenty of
weird.
time to catch up on your
Yeah.
fucking years of content.
I want to circle back to Game of Thrones, but with Doctor Who, they break up the season really weird. It's like, I don't know, it's in like 3 parts, it seems.
Yeah.
It's kind of bizarre. But no, with Doctor Who, they of course revived it in 2005, right?
They should make Doctor Thrones.
Doctor Thrones. Oh,
where
God.
Doctor Who goes back and...
Or a crossover with Game of Thrones and Doctor Who, where there's one episode of Game of Thrones where the Doctor just shows up on the battlefield with the TARDIS.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, they
Thrones.
technically have a Game of Thrones actress in Doctor
Game
Who,
of
right?
whom?
Oh no!
Anyway, no. So for Game of Thrones, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's the greatest thing. You should watch it." I watched the first episode. I'm like, "This is terrible. Let's watch the second episode to see if it gets better."
You're terrible.
I start watching the second episode. I'm like, "This is equally as terrible." I ended up 5 episodes in just to give it a chance. I'm like, "Well, I've sunk 5 hours into this. Might as well finish the season."
Well,
And then at the end of that, I'm like, "This was a terrible show. I guess I'll watch the second season." So I just
Why?
kept. Well, like I say, it
I've
sunk
never done that.
because I sunk 10 hours into it. And I'm like, "Well, I need to see this through to the end."
See,
So now-
after the second episode, if I didn't
Yeah.
like it, I'd have dropped
well,
it.
that's what Samantha and I... We watched the first episode, and I was like, I'm not hooked. She's like, well, people say that you have to watch a few before you get hooked. I'm like, well, then...
The rule is
that-
3.
That's the shittiest... You know what? The whole point is that your crack dealer gives you a little bit of crack the first time, just a taste, and then suddenly you're hooked. You know what I'm saying?
I can't believe that you're comparing television shows to smoking crack.
I can believe it. Yeah, binge watching TV shows is a lot like crack. But I mean, just like Game of Thrones, like any good show should be able to be like, oh, here's a taste, and you watch the first episode and go, oh, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch the first episode and they're like, no, you gotta watch like 7. Like, no crack dealer's like, all right, I'll give you like...
See, I find it depends
I'll give
on
you 7
the
ounces for
show,
free.
and it depends on the content of the show.
I'll give you
because
$7,000 worth of crack right now.
if you have a show like Game of Thrones that's already got a pre-existing
Surely you'll get
history
hooked.
that you have to work with,
Sure.
then you might not be able to get that impact in the first episode. You're going to try and fit as much in as you can in the first few episodes to get everyone caught up, so to speak.
To be honest,
It's easier with a completely new topic, like something that's never been done before. It's never been a movie. It's never been a TV. because
is there ever going to be a
set the
time where
pace.
you come over and not pitch something to me with fit as much in as possible?
No, I'm all about putting as much stuff as possible into things.
I've hit rock bottom on a binge watching episode.
But no, so for Game of Thrones specifically, I'm actually interested in it now because of
The nudity,
that's a bonus. No, I guess mainly because of the fact that
specifically the male nudity.
male nudity. Yeah, there's a lot of guy butt that's in there. Yeah.
Well, South Park pointed out that there's a lot of flaccid. He's
Yeah.
like they're like
Just a lot of flaccid
no.
dick.
There's a ton of dick and they're all flaccid. But anytime somebody's gay, they're always rock hard.
Yeah, that's the way it would be in real
I
life
don't,
too.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
What? What?
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
My weird my oddity, like what I find odd about Game of Thrones is that like all the female nudity is is like great. Everything's well placed. We'll say, but I guess one complaint that I've gotten from a few women who watch Game of Thrones is like, but when there's dicks in there, they're like all flaccid and tiny, and it's not appealing. Like, well, sex sells, bitches. They're not trying to market to women in this.
I would be weirded out if I was watching. Like, I don't know if this speaks to sexism or something. But, like, I'd be really weirded out if they had a show and like they're just going through and let's say it's an R-rated show and all of a sudden they do show a scene where there's a guy with a dick, but it's like a good dick. It's like a big
What do you consider a good dick, Mike?
just not a gross floppy dick. I don't know.
An atypical dick.
I don't know. There's such a thing as good dicks. I didn't know this turned into fucking Out Mike episode.
No, I think you turned it into an out Mike episode.
So no, for Game of Thrones, I have gotten interested in it. Over the last couple of seasons, they're starting to build up to, some really climactic stuff. The fact that they also kind of put into canon who Jon Snow's mother
Spoiler
might
alert.
be
No,
with this last episode.
It's not might. They've come right out and said.
Well, I guess sorry, not mother, father.
We're gonna
who
lose
the father
all
might be.
of our viewers.
They've come right
if
out
we
and
talk
said that.
It's true. Yeah.
We're talking
so,
about binge watching as a topic, not the specifics
So-
of the latest.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So anyway,
Piss
binge
off
watching.
the world.
Binge watching is
Binge watching
Well,
is fun.
that reminds me of Samantha watches Grey's Anatomy and she's rewatched every single season
Samantha
multiple
watches
times.
Grey's Anatomy.
I watched the first 4 seasons and then I felt like the stories started to repeat themselves.
Just admit it. You love McDreamy.
No, I used to genuinely like the show, but like I said, the stories start to repeat themselves, which I guess would happen after.
Yeah.
They did 4 seasons, and there's only so much shit that can happen in the hospital. right?
exactly yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like
It's gone on for what 21 seasons now.
no, I think
Feels
they're up.
like it.
They're up to 10 or something like that.
Wow.
One of the guys at work was like, oh yeah, I tried to get into that, but I couldn't. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah, I gave it 4 seasons, and it started to repeat itself. He goes, yeah, I couldn't tell if I liked it or not. I watched the first 7 seasons, and then I was like, no, I don't like it. And I was like,
7
You what?
seasons.
Wait, that's
It
the thing.
takes you 7 seasons to decide you don't like something, which is why I like those Netflix series.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which will come out and they'll be like, here's 10 really good episodes, and this will help you determine whether or not you like it. And there's people who are huge fans of Stranger Things, right?
Oh, that's a great
And
show.
that was 1 season, and everyone's like, I absolutely love it. And it's obviously they did really good in that 1 season. They just came out with that 13 Reasons Why.
I don't
that
think
show?
I've watched that one yet.
So Samantha was watching it the other day. She was on episode 6, and I was cooking something, and I saw it in the background. And I found myself doing that thing where I'm like, well, who's that? What are they doing? Why are they doing that? And I was really interested. So I sat down and I watched it in a day and a half. 13 episodes, I think.
I do that with all
14
their
maybe?
Marvel shows.
I don't know. It was really, really good, and it wasn't one of those shows I would normally watch. It's like a teen high school drama about suicide. And,
Oh yeah, Mike
and stuff
totally
like
wouldn't
that.
normally watch.
No, I hate shit like that. But that was really. I couldn't stop watching.
Yeah.
So with one of my favorite shows in the world, you absolutely fucking hate, which is How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, I hate that show. It's awful.
It started off good and then it went down.
No, that's the problem. Is it started off flat as shit. Like
here's the thing.
There was
I
nothing
the
funny. There
episodes,
was nothing funny about it.
Seasons better.
The humor in it reminded me of somebody who thinks that they're really funny and doesn't stop trying to use that.
See, the reason why I liked it when it first came out is because I was always a big fan of the Harold and Kumar movies, and the character that
Neil Patrick
Harris plays in the Harold and Kumar movies is essentially Barney from How I Met Your Mother.
Well, that's the thing is I like the Harold and Kumar movies, but I found like the Neil Patrick Harris thing was really one note, and when he came in and did it for the first few minutes, it was like haha, and then when it became 90% of the movie, I was like, stop.
You just don't like Neil Patrick Harris.
See,
I love him. I think he's talented, and I think he's a great guy, and he's a great actor. My problem is just like they were like he's like, yeah, I'm a childhood actor and I'm gay, but in this I'm a womanizer and I like drugs and I like alcohol and I'm a wild boy, and it was like, haha, that's a funny shtick. And then like an hour later I'm just like, well, what's the next thing? Stop. Like that's all is this all you have? Is this all you have is just look at me being the antithesis of myself. Look at me doing it over here now.
Well, see, the thing that How I Met Your Mother kind of does, and it's, I don't know what it really speaks to as far as binge watching is concerned, but I binge watched like the first bunch of seasons and then kept up with it as it finished, and it felt like a good show, but then I rewatched it after knowing like a bunch of things about the series. Like there's a bunch of meta stuff that happens, right? Like Barney always uses the number 83 for things, and then there's just like these small hints as to what happens at the end of the series.
See, that's why I hated it towards the end, because I felt like they rewrote the ending halfway through the whole series.
They had the ending planned from the very beginning. That's the thing. So that's the one thing that they kept consistent.
No, they didn't. They've done interviews, and they said at one point they thought that it wasn't going to make it past a certain season, so they had one ending in planned, and that's what they were aiming towards. Then they suddenly found out, oh, hey, we're going to get more seasons, and they rewrote everything.
Strange. Never heard of that. But the big problem with binge watching though is that now, when I rewatched it the second time, it didn't feel the same. It felt kind of terrible. That 70s show. That 70s show was one of my favorite shows growing up. Each episode was.
I used to watch it all the time.
Yeah. Here's the thing: each episode was good, right? Like on its own, it had its own story. Everything was fine.
It's not very binge watchable though.
Watching it from start to finish, I binge watched the whole thing from start to finish because I never got a chance to do that as a kid. As a kid, I probably saw all the episodes, but not together or in sequence. That 70s show is a terrible fucking series. The overarching storyline is awful, and it's completely ruined the show for me.
Okay, so you're watching one of those like daytime like comedy sitcom things.
Sure.
You're watching
and you're like
looking for.
And you're looking for an overall story arc? Like,
well,
you're watching the wrong show.
You know what the story arc that was? They were high school kids growing up in high school.
They were high school kids.
They were high. Well, no, that's the thing. It was supposed to technically follow.
That was the overarching story.
No, the overarching story was the love life between Eric and Donna, and how that kind of evolved and how it fell apart, and then the very, very last episode.
I think you're reading.
Nobody watched it for an overall story. It was one of those things where it's like catch an episode here or there, catch the new one when it comes out. It's funny, haha, laugh. Kelso's dumb, move on. You know what it like he's dumb, he's foreign, they're dating. Like just move on with your life. You know what I mean? Like it was like Malcolm in the Middle. Like Frankie Muniz on that show grew up. He evolved as a person, as an actor, and everybody kind of did that along with him, and the family grew, and there was a certain story to it. But nobody's sitting there like looking for the overall story of Malcolm in the Middle.
What's the overarching storyline of Malcolm in the Middle?
He's a smart kid.
He's a smart kid that drives his dad nuts, and his dad eventually has to start making crack cocaine because he gets cancer.
I will say that Malcolm in the Middle had me absolutely fall in love with him as an actor.
With Bryan Cranston?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Bryan Cranston is actually amazing.
Like,
See,
I remember when I
liked
was
him before that. I liked him after his work on the original Power Rangers TV show when he played a couple of the
You
monsters.
didn't even know he was in there. You liked him as Seinfeld's dentist.
Oh, I forget he did. I didn't watch Seinfeld. I hated that show.
No, when I was a kid, I remember turning on the TV and Mom's like, "Oh, there's Malcolm in the Middle." I'm pretty sure they said ass once, so like, don't show your sister that show. And I remember watching it, and I just remember seeing Hal getting his back shaved in his tidy whities, with the newspaper, and I was like, I love this character. Like immediately,
I
like,
can relate to him.
I love how the Tidy Whities thing kind of works its way into the whole Breaking Bad type dealio, right? 'Cause he's always wearing Hal's always wearing Tidy Whities, and of course the very first episode
It's
of
like
Breaking
Bryan
Bad.
Cranston's favorite joke.
It is.
It's to like just show up in shitty underwear,
I,
not shitty underwear, but like just bad underwear. Sorry.
Tidy white.
All right. I don't know. That's a pretty good spot to lessons learned on that.
lessons learned: binge watching has ruined my life, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
My lesson learned is apparently Alex thinks that there's an overall storyline to any show that he watches.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think there's an overall storyline to game shows, Alex?
Yeah, that's right.
It has to be.
The biggest lessons learned here is that, you should always watch 100 seasons of a show before you decide whether or not you like it, and stay tuned for the overall story arc of Wheel of Fortune.
Thanks for watching that episode of the Words Are Hard Show, guys. Leave a comment down below of topics and stuff that you want us to talk about. You can leave a request along with that topic, and we'll try our best to fulfill it. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends. Check out our shirts that are down in the description there below. We don't make any money off it, but you can get our faces on your chest, which would be all just absolutely great. If you want to subscribe to our videos, you can click right here, and if you want to see previous videos, you can click over there between Mike and Greg. And as always, thanks for watching.